mau.
Enggak. Udah ayo buka aja.
Heroes are very, very key in this matchup.
There's a lot of contested heroes between both
Radiant
teams.
team back.
Heroes are very, very key in this matchup.
There's a lot of contested heroes between both
Radiant
teams.
team
Are incredibly flexible. They play a lot of different things. So focus on the supports that enable a certain. Maybe not. It really
yeah. They might
Yeah,
give it away at the start.
Okay, so they get this
incredibly flexible. They play a lot of different things. So good about using their spells whenever they're up, and then time dilation totally screws all of that
Yeah,
up.
but the other thing about the Void is like he's one of the few off-laners. If you try to roam a lot and you don't focus on shutting him down, he can actually get so much farm from the off-lane. So
good about using their spells whenever they're up, and then time dilation totally screws all of that
yeah,
up.
but the other thing about the Void is like he's one of the few off-laners. If you try to roam a lot and you don't focus on shutting him down, he can actually get so much farm from the off-lane. So
Thing that is incredibly
it's
cooldown.
strong though, don't you think? Like
Been doing a lot of Maledict lately.
yeah, it's one of their heroes. Depends on how, like you mentioned, how the early game goes.
Right, it depends on how the lanes go. And if MVP is able to get off to a good start here, I worry about OG's ability to take farts.
I still don't see them having a really good morphling solution in the mid game though. As long as he presses morph before he gets disabled.
Maybe you just don't need to deal with the morphling. Maybe you just win before morphling comes online.
With what?
That's what MVP going to be
Good about using their spells whenever they're up.
Oh,
and
this
time
is like the
dilation
MVP
totally
type of
screws all
heroes.
of that
Yeah,
up.
but the other thing about the Void is like he's one of the few off-laners. If you try to roam a lot and you don't focus on shutting him down, he can actually get so much farm from the off-lane. So
They're not completely convinced here on the panel of the draft, but we are convinced.
Thing that is incredibly
it's
cooldown.
strong though, don't you think? Like
Been doing a lot of Maledict lately.
Yeah,
it's one of their heroes. Depends on how, like you mentioned, how the early game goes.
Right, it depends on how the lanes go. And if MVP is able to get off to a good start here, I worry about OG. Good about using their spells whenever they're up.
Oh,
and
this is
time
like the
dilation
MVP
totally
type of
screws all
heroes.
of that
Yeah,
up.
but the other thing about the Void is like he's one of the few off-laners. A lot.
OG have a slight edge, I believe, when it comes to the home crowd advantage.
Focus on shutting him down, he can actually get so much farm from the off. Though, don't you think like
Been doing a lot of Maledict lately.
Very, very disruptive hero. And a player that really seems to fit his playstyle as well. He's going to start out in mid, but we already see the way OG are going to counter this. They have the counter ward already laid down on the hard right side, and they've got Dazzle sitting behind No Tail now.
Looks like this is like the probably have a hero dedicated to jungle solo stacking. We see 4M not even bothering with dealing with the Wisp in the morph.
Mid top lane. Looks like Moon may actually be a little bit caught out here. He's going to take a lot of damage from the spin. Doubt they're going to go for the full-on dive. Just bring him low enough that he's scared to come forward. Trying to put some pressure on the Beastmaster. One of the heroes that seems to be the most problematic in the tournament is a Beastmaster seems to always be able to get decent off-lane farm and even better jungle farm at times.
And their heroes definitely scream aggression. Even the item build coming out from Juggernaut. Boots first on MP to try and get that first kill.
Febby still maintaining his place here in the mid lane after he managed to take away the enemy's counter ward. They're going to get some damage onto QO though. And the boar actually rotating across as well for just that extra hit. QO still up in CS, a decent amount. Meanwhile, the Axe, this is something that OG do really need to be concerned about. The fact that they have these two defensive supports for Rev. We've already seen the power of this Iron Talon first Axe and the way you're able to use Battle Hunger to stack up. This is an Axe that manages to get level 6 by like 5 minutes sometimes.
It's going to be really devastating once that first smoke comes out. I don't know who he really kills though. It's pretty difficult to jump to DK. I suppose not so much when you have the Ember Spirit.
Moon Meander has completely abandoned his offlane now. Something that he's moaned quite a lot about is the Iron Talon gaming that's currently happening in the offlane, and it seems like he wanted to try and make it work in the offlane, but unfortunately is going to be forced back to the jungle with only that Quelling Blade for now. Jump in on mid lane. They're going to get some more damage on a QO. Back to tier 1 tower he goes.
Been doing a lot of Maledict.
Dwindling in CS now 6-0 compared to the 12-4 on No Tail. Fly really making sure that No Tail has the best start possible. Febby's going to show up again. Just does a little bit of harassment damage on the Fly, but again, this lane matchup is always going to go to the favor of OG, it seems.
Two melee heroes cannot deal with the Shadow Wave. If they get too aggressive, they can just eat a full heal bomb if they're close to the creeps, and there's not really a way around that.
Very
Do you think
the trade-off is worth it for MVP Phoenix? The fact that they're going to have a faster jungler and the player for now really seems to fit his playstyle as well. He's going to start down in mid, but we already see
as
the
long as
way
they pick up
OG are going to counter
kills,
this. They have the counter ward already laid down on the
they're
hard
getting
right
okay
side.
levels on Bounty Hunter. Ideally, though, you don't want to split the experience.
Dazzle sitting behind No
You want
Tail now.
someone down there to soak up XP. And 4F noticing that there's a lot of rate like that. Probably have a hero dedicated. We'll come back.
Yeah, time to pick up all that
jungle
experience.
side,
I think needs to let
not even
the creep wave go into the tier 1 tower and get a lot of free damage as well. Meanwhile, Febby's actually going to be interrupting Moon as he's full-time. Looks like Moon may actually be a little bit caught out here. It's going to take a lot. Half that experience and being a rather
time ROTK had that Chronosphere, that stat just popped up that he hadn't played any Morph, but I was pretty sure that he had.
You could be right.
Bad stats meant Ben. That's my nickname for Nox. We love you, Nox.
QO trying to get that 4-minute rune, but Fly already in position. The bottom rune's going to be taken away by
chicken
the
snipe by
away that tier 1 tower as fast as possible, and if OG want to be able to contest that, it means they have to bring Moon out of the jungle and up to the offlane once again.
Io's getting a lot of levels. He is very vulnerable to like Emperor and Bounty Hunter jumping him, but he is level 4.5 right now and getting a lot of stacks and gold in the process. So if he's difficult to take down, Morphling can go ham in these fights.
We're going to have just a lot of really big sustain from OG between the Dragonite, the Beastmaster, and the Morphling. Rather tanky cores across the board. And then you have these two ultra defensive supports in both the Wisp as well as the Dazzle. It's going to be a hard way for MVP Phoenix to actually cut through these heroes when it comes to team fights.
If one hero falls though with Cole, I think everyone else is going to fall. And Grave is not particularly great.
Yeah, that's true. Forev, obviously, with the big counter. They are going to pop the ultimate here. No Tail trying to go for QL, but it's now going to be surrounded by 3 heroes. That fourth comes in as Dubu's going to throw the paralyzing cast, but here comes those 2 defensive supports. Forev, he does have that level 6, so even if they manage to get off the Shallow Grave, it's not going to matter, but the Culling Blade, it's just not quite enough. Now they throw up the Shallow Grave, and damn, I bet Forev misses that Culling Blade now as QO needs to be healed up by Dubu. Runs out of mana, though, and QO may just get run down, kicked to death by Moon, barely able to stay out. Meanwhile, MP gets the spin on the flying nose, he's dead, and just accepts his fate. Finally, the kill being picked up by Crit for first blood, but Witch Doctor manages to secure the counter on the Dazzle.
Yeah, MVP not really on the same page there. We had the axe run back when Ember Speeder was about to get that Searing Chains and put him in that critical HP threshold.
And then that increased movement speed might have made all the big difference for MVP Phoenix in the continuing fight.
Well, that was 4-on-5. Morphling still farming peacefully in that bottom lane.
Miracle's going to be a pretty happy camper. This game, item build-wise, where do you really see the Morphling? How quickly does he have to be a part of these team fights for OG?
You don't really need that many items when you have a Wisp behind you, because you can just sit very low HP, like 500, 600 area with a lot
come forward, tries to go on fly, is blown up, another right click, almost finished them off, but they still managed to get the kill onto Dazzle. The Boars, though, get the kill for Moon instead, not worth the trade-off. As MVP Phoenix QO is perhaps just a little bit frustrated with the laning phase and how he's being shut out by OG.
It's really difficult for these melee heroes to go onto the Dazzle. He got QO so low due to the level 2 healing wave on the Dazzle. They have the summons, some from the
Up to the top lane, Forev is going to be able to keep him slowed down with the Battle Hunger, but it looks like No Tail turns around, managed to get the stun. MP going to try and pursue still, but we have the Dazzle right behind him, and Juggernaut out of mana for the Omni Slash.
And Crit is just one stack away from getting level 6, and as soon as Miracle joins these fights, I think MVP's in a lot of trouble. Track not maybe like 3 or 4 minutes out from being skilled on Bounty Hunter. He's level 4.5, just got scouted with the Sentry Ward in between the T1 and the T2.
Febby is going to sit on top of Moon. Moon obviously does know about Febby's rotation, so this shouldn't really be a problem for him. Just seems like OG have really managed to create a strategy that slows down the game so much that MVP Phoenix aren't able to use their signature aggression to get the normal laning phase lead that they want.
And I think OG realized that it's very difficult to beat MVP at that sort of game.
A tier 1 tower is finally going to go down in the bottom lane. Miracle picks that one up, speeding up his, what I can only presume is the Linken's required this game. We've got Omni Slash, maybe Paralyzing Cast. Oh, jump on mid, QO going to die again as Moonmeander manages to make the initiation there alongside No Tail. And the relocate is just easy follow-up. Now they've got 3 different heroes, all cores here, ready to beat down that tier 1 tower, and MVP Phoenix not in a position to defend, really. Looks like they're still going to try and collide here, but QO is still another 12 seconds out.
And Miracle hits really hard right now. 119 damage, combine that with Inner Beast and Overcharge.
Febby trying to get the deny. Meanwhile, MVP Phoenix coming in from the side. They're going to go and start going on Crit, but Miracle, it's going to challenge Dubu here. The right click almost enough to finish him up, but he managed to get a fairy fire. Meanwhile, Crit, a heal actually managed to stop the culling blade, and again, that movement speed might be critical as MVP Phoenix are not able to get themselves, extricate themselves out of that team fight. That'll be Axe going down first. The Witch Doctor almost cleaned up. Febby almost going down as well as the Flame Breath. Almost finishes him off there. QO not being there for the fight, obviously, because he was dead, but MVP Phoenix still trying to force that one. Seems like a bit of an error on their part as OG proved to be just a bit too strong.
They really need some sort of jump, either QO being farmed, maybe Axe getting a Blink Dagger, but MVP, they seem a little bit lost without the skirmish advantage. OG have the mobility advantage with the IO. They have the vision advantage with the Beastmaster, and MVP just not able to search for the fights that they're looking for. Still need track. It's coming out soon on Febby.
It's rapidly going to get all the more dangerous if No Tail can finish up his armlet, and we're actually going to see a rather fast Necronomicon thanks to these fights going the way of OG on the Beastmaster as well, and obviously Miracle is always going to be a problem as his tankiness as the Morphling is going to be hard for MVP Phoenix to cut through.
He is way ahead of Juggernaut right now, 1,000, and that was just a pure free farming morph in the bottom lane, uncontested.
They're going to get another tier 1 towers to make that lead even larger, as OG can rather easily still rotate to bottom lane and defend as QO tries to go for the push.
So they need more items on QO. They also need to be wary of the Beastmaster smoke ganks and to relocate. He is their best setup. Dragon Knight is far too clunky of a hero to set up for relocate ganks until he has Shadow Blade or Blink, which is often eschewed for the armlet like we've seen most games.
Right. That was supposed to be the bit of an advantage that MVP Phoenix were going to have, right? Between QO being this easy jumping hero and the Axe supposed to be picking up a relatively fast Blink Dagger, there should have been a time period around 15, 18 minutes where MVP Phoenix would have been the ones determining the starts of all the fights because their initiation. But now with this early farm, it seems like OG may actually be able to get their initiating items on a relatively quick pace. MVP Phoenix, smart though, they're going to be able to spot out Crit. Will be able to get the first track kill of the game rather easily. Turn back towards Miracle, who's already got a replicate out, so he can jump over to that one. The call is going to lead the way though. They are going to get a lot of damage onto Miracle. He's ready to jump out in a second and should be able to escape. Meanwhile, the rest of OG using that time where MVP Phoenix were trying to go on Miracle to push down the tier 2 at top lane.
And Miracle doesn't have any items right now, but he is nigh impossible for MVP to kill. Track move speed simply not going to be enough, just lacking any sort of damage. I think they only got like 500 damage on him at that point, and he salved up, he's back to full HP.
And OG gonna keep going, forcing the TPs out from MVP Phoenix. QO's gonna be the first one, actually gets burned out of mana there from the Necronomicon, and can't continue to fight even as the rest of his allies start coming in. And P just takes the consolation prize in the little Necronomicon warrior. But
in a Vanguard, he's really committing to the fighting build. He's going to fall way behind Morphling with this build, I think.
yeah, he really is, especially since, I mean, it's 13.5 minutes. We've only seen 9 kills so far. Unless somehow MVP Phoenix managed to force OG to fight a lot, it seems like OG can read these item builds and just go, that's fine. We could just draw out the game, slow it down, split push to our heart's content, and stay away from MVP Phoenix and naturally get a farm advantage from that.
MVP's getting close to that point, though. Just 150 gold until BOT is on Ember Spirit. Just a couple hundred gold until Axe gets his Blink Dagger, and that might be the word to go.
MVP Phoenix are going to need to get a lot done during that small window of time, though, as OG racking up even their lower cores, like the Beastmaster and Dragon Knight, are about to contest the Juggernaut. They're going to jump here on a Replicate, blowing everything they had. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, actually centering up, here comes the relocate. They're going to jump on MP. They manage to get the Primal Roar. The spin, not enough, and Jesus. That Shadow Wave from Fly manages to help OG burst down the Juggernaut so quickly.
And an invisible no-tail set that kill up, and the siege continues.
MVP Phoenix, particularly with one hero down and a bounty hunter on their side, have nothing to be able to defend against these tower pushes when there's 4 or 5 heroes grouped up together like this.
And maybe 2 defensive supports is the key to slowing down MVP's pace.
MVP Phoenix, knowing they can't really do much at this point, continue to try and farm up on QO as he pushes out the bottom lane. Does have those boots of travels ready to go, but it's not going to be enough by itself, that's certainly for sure.
And that should be the Blink Dagger reveal. Axe is farming mid, and
yeah,
OG will definitely know that he has it.
Even Forev is going to be quite squishy as he doesn't have a Vanguard himself, obviously needing to speed up that initiating item. Couldn't go for the Vanguard or anything like that, so even if he does manage to get the right kind of jump, he may still get bursted down relatively quickly.
And a very early gem pickup coming out from Crit.
I like this. OG have a very clear advantage, and they'll just be able to build on it if they can keep this gem in their hands. Meanwhile, MVP Phoenix need to be able to go for this smoke up, but
it was scouted out by the Hawk.
Yeah, the pings already came out, and the Hawk scouted that one away. Looks like they're going to go for yet another replicate bait here, as they move the replicate into the river. MVP Phoenix scouting it here.
And that is a farm
jump on Forev.
Beastmaster. Beastmaster.
Oh, Miracle himself actually jumps over to him, trying to pick up the battery root, but it's going to be perfect. Miracle almost gets bursted down immediately. Starts morphing strength though, and now the rest of OG able to surround their carry and push back against MVP Phoenix, getting the initiation, and now the push uphill. Perez doesn't flip, is going to try and make his way back down. Blinks in, manages to get the call, but just can't get the damage done, as the rest of his team is being pushed back by no-tail. Now Forev is going to get stunned up by Miracle, rather large stun at that. QO gets the change, creates the space for Forev to be able to get the blink out, and MVP Phoenix should be able to escape with no further losses, but considering that was a smoke gank that turned awry, losing the bounty hunter, it's not a good sign for MVP Phoenix.
They committed Omni Slash, they committed a Death Ward, and he still had 1,000 HP, and that was before like a heal came out from the Dazzle and IO came in to rescue him from that gank.
Part of it is the Witch Doctor, Dubu actually choosing not to go for any levels of Maledict, and this is one of the abilities that the Witch Doctor is supposed to have to help cut through these tankier heroes like the Morphling, but he got the early Voodoo Restoration, which we saw was actually rather necessary, but because MVP Phoenix weren't winning fights, he has had no level progression since.
And there's no way they can stop him from morphing.
Yeah. They need some way to be able to burst him down a bit faster, but that's just not going to happen with the Lincoln's complete on Miracle, and now we can start moving forward.
Febby runs into Moon. Moon just kind of like, oh, hey there.
All right, Febby Keeps on trucking. Runs hard left here and looks for the TP out. Is he going to make it out? Moon, Primal Roar, ready to go. Oh, almost. Must not have been paying attention to his screen, as that gem should have given him the free kill. MVP Phoenix at least know about this gem pickup now and will play accordingly.
Ooh, a very dangerous pickup from Dragon Knight with a blink. You can get that instant stun onto Ember Spirit, onto Juggernaut before he can spin, and a couple of dead heroes. And it's also a really good setup for the relocate from Crit.
OG, they can definitely continue to play defensive if they want, but they're actually going to go for what is essentially will push high ground and challenge MVP Phoenix to defend.
And where's their anti-push?
Absolutely nothing
on this.
He's supposed to jump into a Morphling and a Dragon Knight who are tanky as hell and get burned away by the Necronomicon. He doesn't really have a hope of cutting through those heroes, and he's just going to end up losing a lot of HP and mana in the process.
And now Ember Spirit has to feel very worried.
Oh, they managed to get a call on No Tail, pulling him back into the tier 3 area, but there are no disables whatsoever to keep him in that position, and Miracle's just going to right-click that tier 3 down with his agility morph.
And there's very little spam from them. They can't clear the creep wave at all, and they can't get Dragon Knight low to the point where he's forced to retreat. They just kind of took a T3 for free. Maybe once Ember Spirit gets Battle Fury, they can start doing some damage. Maybe once Witch Doctor gets those points of Maledict that you were talking about. But as of right now, MVP just far too weak.
We were talking about this actually in the drafting phase, whether or not we liked Bounty Hunter in the first one too, and my argument was that MVP Phoenix is one of the few teams that can actually make the Bounty Hunter 1-2 pickup work for them, because they always find a way to make their aggression work in the first 20 minutes, but that apparently is completely wrong, as OG have developed this exact game plan in mind to be able to deal with MVP's run-at-you style.
And OG kind of postured for an aggressive smoke. There was a scan, as well as a Hawk that scouted out the Axe, but the way they were around the Ancients, just all sitting up on the high ground, daring MVP to challenge them.
That's not going to happen in MVP Phoenix. Unfortunately, they don't even have good Roche-taking potential. And that would be the other objective that MVP Phoenix on Dire side like this would naturally fall back to if a smoke doesn't work, but not the case here.
And still, where's their damage coming from? MP with just a Claymore to aid in his damage output. Axe forced to go to initiation item, the Blink Dagger. No Blade Mail, not that it'd be particularly useful versus OG's lineup. No signs of a Scepter coming out from Witch Doctor. And barring like 2 or 3 track kills in the next couple of fights, it's going to be very difficult.
Could be a decent pickup, but unfortunately, they don't quite get it. They have the vision from Febby. Are actually going to be able to slow down these 2 heroes, maybe long enough for the Axe to be able to jump in, but not fast enough, as Febby does get bursted down. The Axe still not here, and is not going to be able to get there in time to be able to get the Culling Blade. No Tail gets stalled up a little bit more. MP is going to join the fight, actually. They do have the relocate forward. They're just looking to be able to pop this Dragon Knight. Finally, they will bring him down with that pop, but no, it's now going to be the Witch Doctor who goes down. They turn towards taking it. Crit in 3 more seconds, but not fast enough. The Culling Blade takes him out. Now MVP Phoenix on forward street, at least attempting to, but Perez gonna get caught, and MP, who's spun away, who's now trying to keep that healing ward to somehow run himself all the way back to the tier 2, but it's just not gonna happen. Not even tier 2's up. He's gotta make it all the way to tier 3. QO providing interference. Looks like the chains was just enough to slow down the pursuit of OG, and that was actually a pretty damn good trade-off there for MVP Phoenix, considering how far behind they are. A 2-for-2 trade-off is maybe more than they even expected to get.
Yeah, OG did not have their numbers there. That's not really what they were expecting a fight to be taken from MVP. Still, they're feeling very comfortable. Didn't lose the gem. If they lose the gem, then they might feel like they're in a little bit of trouble. But up until that point, Febby can't really roam around the map, can't provide any intel, and if he dies first in a fight, they don't get any track kills.
Back to the Battle Fury for the Juggernaut. Feels like MVP Phoenix now have to start thinking about farming and split pushing and trying to push this game later, even though that's not what this lineup is really intended to be about. Unfortunately, their laning phase didn't work for them, and they have to try and look at plan B and C.
Yeah. Is there a plan C? I think plan A was get track kills. Plan B is let's just get Battle Furies and farm up and stall until we can win team fights through sheer damage output. However, OG smoke under their T1 tower.
Those boars getting a lot of information right now on MVP Phoenix's positioning. They are going to back up to their tier 3 tower, feeling rather unsafe, as that bottom lane pushing out so far is probably a little bit of a warning signal to MVP Phoenix. They may still get caught here though, as a jump in, Dragon Tail leading the way. They managed to get the call counter, but still Miracle's going to be able to pop duo nonetheless. And Forev again just not taking enough to be able to survive the onslaught of 5 different heroes. And now OG, they go straight for the throw, trying to take out the melee racks before the 25-minute marker. And they will take it indeed. MVP Phoenix not able to provide a response just yet. They're trying to slow this push down as best as they can. The Necronomicons, OG playing this very disciplined and very safe. Even though there's still no QO for MVP Phoenix.
You say that and there's a 5 strength Morphling.
Are they gonna go back in? Maybe they were perhaps a little bit afraid of a buyback there. The Ember Spirit, they know they're well in control of this game and don't want to do anything that puts that at risk.
Yeah, they can just take out Roche. Morphling just does incredible amounts of right-click damage. They're struggling to build damage, but by the time they complete damage items, they'll need defensive items to deal with a Morphling right-click. And there's no way they can lock him down in fights. They have the Manta style, even if they lock down his main hero. He'll still output a lot of damage with those illusions, and replicate on either Axe or Juggernaut will still be pretty huge.
MVP Phoenix, no, they can't just farm away. They need to get aggressive and see if they can actually get a track kill. And if they win a fight like this, they can actually turn it into a fast Roshan. But
Scan just came up for Radiant, but
no, MVP
already
Phoenix
suspecting what's happening.